Blog Talk Radio.
Yo, what's bangin', man? It's your boy Nutso. Mr. Get With It to get your face knitted. Reppin' that Q borough, nigga. Flushing Queens, man. I'm out here with my motherfucking family. You already know what it is when you hear that. Ooh, hey! Yeah, nigga. Screwbal Radio with Black Poet and King Eric. Comet, what up? This is what we do, man. Nutso, Queens. Was brangin', nigga.
Yeah. It's your boy Life Liggy Long, live from the pandemic. Yeah. So keeping the vibes right. You know what I'm saying? We got Screwbal Radio with your man King Eric, Black Poet. Shout out my man Comet. You know how we do. You know what I mean? Screwbal Radio. Get in tune, baby. We out here. Let's go.
Yeah, what up, man? It's your boy Comet, man, Screwbal Capo, and I'm here on Screwbal Radio with my brother Black Poet and King Eric.
You know what it is? Escape the drippiest of Screwbal. I'm here with the wildest and the grimiest, King Eric and Black Poet at Screwbal Radio. Oh yeah, shout out my big bros for life, John Nitty, Kyron, Comet, Ron Chef. Rest easy, KL Hostel.
What's hood good with y'all? This your big homie, Prodigy Hood from the South Central Cartel. I'm tapping in with the homies, Black Poet and Eric Mossberg at Screwbal Radio. Bang that.
What's up? This is Prince Power Rule, a.k.a. Marcano from the Leftovers, and you're listening to Screwbal Radio with my man Black Poet and King Eric. Yeah.
What it is, y'all. This your player partner, the legendary Cocaine. And look, I want to give big ups to my East Coast family. Shout out to Screwbal Radio, you dig? Man, big ups to Comet, Black, Poet, and my nephew Eric Mossberg. That's what it is, Screwbal Radio, Buddy Boys, the legendary Cocaine. We on that Monkey with the Funky campaign, you heard? Man, keep it wiggling. Screwbal.
Yeah.
It's your boy, 114 on the rack, man. This is King Eric. What's the deal, brother?
Yeah, we here, man. Screwbal Radio, another Saturday night of giving you nothing but that real hip-hop from our point of view. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. None of that politically correct Patrice shit. It's the real thing right here. You know what I'm saying?
That's for sure. That's for certain. That's for sure.
And this is Go ahead.
Yeah, today we got a dope show, another dope interview coming on. It's gonna be good for the listeners. If you're a hip hop head, you'll know who this person is. Very legendary, comes from a legendary group, straight out of the bricks, New Jersey, for those that don't know. And if you're from overseas, there's Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, the ever so talented Elder Sensei.
Yeah, we got him on the line right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's up, man?
What up? Peace. What's good, yo?
Up to Elder Sensei.
Salute. 2 L's.
Much love to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Of course, man. Here at Screwbal Radio, we play nothing but the real official hip hop. You know what I mean? And for years you've been putting in work. We've been watching you for years put in work, solo career, artifacts, and still giving people the realness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hip hop, not watered down. You know what I mean?
No. I mean, I can't stop doing that now after all these years of like what you just said. So that's what got me to where I am. 52 years old now, still in it. As long as I can physically do it, I will do it. So I appreciate everybody that's been following and, even all the way up to the new album today with me and Tame. So, there's nothing else to do but to, like the song say, nothing else to do but to do it.
For real. And, for sure, rest in peace Tame-One, rest in peace DJ Chaos,
No doubt.
big part of Artifacts right there, you know what I mean? And, just glad that you're doing what you do, with all the countless work. I just seen you was down in Orlando with the Brother Lowe's,
Yeah, man. That was
doing
fun.
it big for. Yeah, doing it big for the General Thurston Howell III,
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I just, I'm a hip hop head, man, and I love hip hop. I remember when your first single, I don't know if it was your first single, but Wrong Side of the Tracks came out, and I'm a graffiti head, so, 94, 93, 94, that was like our soundtrack. You know what I mean? Like, Hot 97 was playing that over and over, Wrong Side of the Tracks. Like, that was on heavy rotation. Like, the way they be playing that bullshit Drake shit.
Right.
That's what Artifacts was. Artifacts was mainstream. There was no bubblegum rap on radio. It was always real music. You was either hearing Artifacts, Gangstar, Black Moon, like
yeah.
For sure, Mobb Deep, Nas.
And most important.
What's that?
Yeah, and I was saying, to build on what you're saying, what made them so dope is that nobody sounded alike. Everybody had their own style, their own rhythm, their own flow.
Well, for the Artifacts, for those that's listening, to me, outside of KRS, y'all was really the ones that took it to the graffiti, to give it that element, because graffiti's a big part of hip hop,
Right.
Whether people want to accept. Yeah. Whether some people want to accept it or not, graffiti is an element of hip hop. Like, if you grew up in the 80s, 90s, graffiti was relevant. People was listening to, DJ Red Alert going bombing, with their big boombox with them, like.
Right.
So, my question to you is, like, how you feel about, like, where hip hop went, being that you've been a legend in the game and seeing where it's going?
Well, a lot of the times when people ask me that, I say I don't think about it too much today, as far as where it's at right now, because I know that's not my lane. A lot of times I like a lot of newer artists that I do like that's in my lane. Kendrick, J. Cole. I like Skyzoo. Skyzoo, one of the guys I feel like that's in our lane as far as vein of music, where he's carrying on the torch. There's a lot of other guys that people may not know about, and a lot of artists that's still from the past. Coogee Rap just released a new album. A lot of cats is putting out a lot of new records today that's, putting out even records if not out. MOP, a lot of Philly Dance, a lot of cats is still active. So I tend to listen to a lot of that shit than I do with what's on the radio. Even my son don't even listen to the stuff that's on the radio. So it's more or less for me to concentrate on still the people that follow me, people like such as yourself, people I know that are looking for us, that know we on the radar and know that we still putting out music, whether it be vinyl, whether it be online streaming and everything like that. So that's still a mission within itself, where you, even at my age, I still have to treat every record like it's a new invention of myself for people today who may not have heard of Artifacts, or those who don't know Elder Sensei by himself solo-wise other than Artifacts. So you turning new people on every year, and every time you do a new release. So I have to focus more on that. And a lot of the cats, even say overseas and even here more now in America, if they followed us, they see that we have new records out, because they go to the record store and they go on these websites when they buy their records, so they see Artifact Records, whether it be features, whether it be our own records, even the new one now. So that's the most important thing that I think about when I think about the future and when I think about now, because you always as good as your last record. So with every record we've done, even with records I'm doing by myself, it's always about reinventing yourself, because it's always, I look at all of this stuff like the algorithm on Instagram. It's always going to change, but you always have to throw something in the algorithm of yourself to make people even focus on your page. So it's the same thing with doing music.
And what was the mindset you guys had? What was the mindset you guys had in going into your last record, the No Expiration Date album? Was it the mindset of, man, these dudes ain't really doing it like that, I feel like, I could bust these dudes' ass, or you just want to do it just, to get it all out your system?
Well, we were working with this label in Germany called Smoke On Records, and they do a lot of reissues and throwback records. But this guy at the time, he approached us about doing something with Buck Wild, because Buck was already doing records with him. So we knew Buck, so we put everything together, and through that, he got the idea to we threw out one of the demo albums of all our early songs that people didn't hear. So that is on YouTube, some of the songs, but we put it together on vinyl and CDs and even a couple of cassettes, just to let people see this is what we sounded like early on, from like 90, 92. So it's called The Lost Files. So we put that out. Then we did a reissue for the That's Them album. So with this record with Buck, it was more or less, that's where we started from. When we started doing the first album, and we knew we couldn't get like beats from Primo or Lost Pro or P-Rock, we said, okay, I said to them, like, who's this? I said, get the dude that did the Camp Front record. So I knew that was Buck, and I knew he was in DICZ. So we met Buck in the studio at Soundtracks in New York at the time on 21st Street, and Rock Raider was in the room with him. And Buck, my man Reef, Rob Chulo, was an A&R at Atlantic at Big B. He introduced us to them, and right there on the spot, Buck just started playing beat, and he made the Come On With the Get Down beat right there. So on the spot, just like he did the remix, on the spot, gave it the buster. He loved it. Same thing with doing this record was, he came to my crib, me and Tame sat in the basement, and he just played beats, and we picked the ones that's on the record. Maybe it was 2 extra ones we didn't use, but what you hear on the record is what he gave us. So me and Tame's chemistry always, it didn't not say so matter who made the beats, but we always knew what we had to do when we got the tracks. We always picked the beats together, and then just basically vibe out to what we listening to. And only thing that was different with doing this record, we didn't have a lot of time to get together to do it, so it was more or less, he was recording at my house, but I had to record something when he wasn't with me, and he would come in and fill in the spaces where he's supposed to go. But my man DJ Hush, doing the scratches, just knowing that we was doing this record and listening to the tracks we had, even down to the last beat we picked, we knew what we had to do, because like it's never a thing me and Tame had to do where it was practice, or like the only thing for me that I knew I had to do was make sure that I come with my best bars, because I know already what he's gonna do. As far as with Tame, you never question anything he said on the mic, because you already knew this dude was gonna say some fucking fantastical shit. So it just got me on my toes more to be myself and bring my part of what I bring to the group, to the table. So it was more or less, I just pretty much brought in everybody, DJ Eclipse, my man DJ Hush from Memphis, just getting Afro to be on the album, which is New Blood. That's dope New Blood. So he had to be on the record. And to have Razzcast, it started with us in the beginning. Same year, did promo tours with him on the West Coast, radio runs, retail runs. So to have him on it made a lot of sense too. So it wasn't a big deal for us to do what we were doing. It was more or less like we always challenged ourselves. It was like almost like I can't say mini battles, but more or less knowing what each other's strengths was and what we were going to do, we had to make sure that, as far as each other, what we knew what to do. So it wasn't a hard thing. It was just really just putting the song together the right way.
So how many years was it from the last Artifacts album to this one? Because you guys only put out like 4 albums, right?
Yeah, like 96, 97, we put out that STEM album. So,
and that's the one with the Ultimate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Artifacts and all that stuff like that. So like that album, we was a little bit ahead of our time doing that record, but when you few years later, all the raucous things started happening, and we was ahead of our speed at the time. But when it's almost like certain movies that may not have blown in the movie theater, but later on they become cult classics. Everybody watching them online or watch it on YouTube or watch it on the VHS. So that's how that album is to me. But it also to me showed me and Tame's progression and what we were trying to do as far as not to sound like how we did on the first album.
Yeah, so this new album is kind of like the two of you coming back full circle, running around.
Yeah. And knowing that the only thing people heard of us album-wise was that STEM album, besides that people really follow us and heard all the singles we've been doing and other videos that we put out since 2008 when we got back together. That's all we've been doing. On tour, doing records, doing features. But people, if they follow us, know what these records are. And sometimes I put up the videos that we've done over the years just to remind people, we was actually working. You know what I'm saying? Like, before we did this new album, we was making records anyway. So that's what made it not a rush thing. It just made it like we was kind of eager to show people what we sound like today if they haven't been following the record. So to some people, it felt like it was a next step from the last one. Or, so it was always hard to top that first one. No different than we wasn't trying to do that with the second one. But this third one, it was more or less like, okay, this is where we at now, and this is what y'all get.
But when y'all made the second album
as well,
like sometimes the label. Would you say, E?
I would say I could tell that you guys was having fun making that record as well.
Oh yeah. Like I said, when you know what you could do, it was the fun thing about making records is the one thing that, like, so say like with me and Tame, with our adding Razzcast and adding Afro, having my man Big Joker as well on the hook. You're using these people because you're fans of them. We wouldn't ask dudes to be on records with them if they wasn't either our friends or we didn't like their music. So it was like adding Avenger elements to the music to say, hey, look, we know this superhero dude over here. Afro Powers was like, every damn flow he come with is different. So I always look at these things as just like for people to take in mind too that if we had a wish list of people we wanted to work with, this is how this happened. And this is what we saying is like, this is the people we fans of that we know. And Afro knows that, because that's the only reason why you on it. But we knew having him, but Tame didn't know of him so much. But when he kept listening to it, he called me, he's like, yo, who is that dude on the Contagious song? Alas Afro. He's like, yo, my man came with the rat-a-tat. So he, even for him, he became a fan of him. And then after a while, he figured out who he was. But for the fans that follow him, they probably was like, damn, as happens to say, people follow us, like, how he get on that record? I'm like, we got knowledge of people that's putting out records today, but it's on us, to have the mind frame to say we're gonna pick these people to be on it, and it happened. So that was the most fun part.
And it's good not having the label, telling you who you could use and who you can't use, because back in the day,
right.
If you brought a feature in, he might be on a different label and it might not even happen. And the song could be recorded,
That's what happened with us with Buster. We had him on the record, but Elektra wouldn't let us have him on a video because Sylvia Rome was like, no, that's going to be more beneficial for them than my artist. Like, but at the time, Buster only was on Flavor in Your Ear remix. Like, far as so he hadn't even put out the album yet, the first album.
Right.
So that had me hot. So like this record, there was nobody. Just my man that's in Germany just put the record, pressed them up, put them together. You know what I'm saying? Released it. There was nobody to say, you know, who to use. Like, it never was even like that when we did our records. Because you notice, we never really only guest was on our first album was maybe my man Jay Byrne and Redman did the hook for the record that he produced. But the second album, we only had, and then we had a remix with Math Skills that was our decision. You know, then we did the second album where it was only Finesse and Lord Jamar. So we didn't never really have guest thoughts in mind because, first of all, that costed money. Me and Tame always felt like, you know, why would we have to do that when we the lyrical dudes in our own group? So let that just be what it is, and we have some sprinkles of people on the record than all through the record. And back then, that was kind of unheard of a little bit, unless you was in a crew with somebody.
Yeah, because like to me, you know, hearing Redman, which was kind of normal to me, being that you know y'all old family, you know what I mean? Exactly. And you know that was cool, you know, especially being from Jersey. Even if Tretch or somebody would have been on the record, it still would have been cool because y'all New Jersey, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, it's definitely cool, you know, to see y'all two get back and showing people that y'all still here, you know, because that's the most important thing is the OGs. I want to say this. Whenever the OGs release music, it makes me happy because it lets me know that hip-hop is still here. Even if it's not heard on the radio, even if radio is boycotting it, you could still find the real, you know? Like, you could still find the real.
Radio is... I'm sorry. Now, the radio is everywhere now. So, like, I get people calling me all the time, like, yo, your man Sia got to do an artifact block, and, you know, Static Selector. All these dudes that know from our past who we are like, we on a lot of DJ playlists, you know, that like to play records that we like to hear, like no different than what you just said. Yeah. So, you know, these are the things.
I always look at satellite radio like something different, but I'm talking about like the like commercial radio. Yeah, like Hot Dial.
They really never really played our records anyway. That's why it never really bothered me. Like what I knew that made us anyway was Stretch and Bob and shows like Wake Up Show and even NYU.
Eclipse.
So it was all the college radio shows that ever even played me a thing, even from the beginning. That's how we made our come up, was off of college radio.
Yeah.
So we would go to mainstream radio stations, but after a while, maybe to the second album, after Wrong Side, and maybe after Ultimate, it started changing. So I understood all of that.
Yeah, because even here on Long Island, where I'm at, you know, Stony Brook Radio 90.1.
Right.
DJ Cut Supreme, he always plays artifacts, you know, without a doubt. You know, he's always playing all the official hip hop, and that's one thing for us here on Long Island is that we have a place like Stony Brook Radio that's gonna give you underground hip hop, you know, because
for years,
believe it,
used to come up there all the time.
You know, believe it or not, you know, to me, even though each generation had their time, like, you know, the artists from the 80s looking at the artists from the 90s, like what they doing, but it was more appreciated than the people from the 2000s looking at the 2010s, the 2015s, all these new artists, this drill, the trap, you know. Even though there was some of that back in the day, because, you know, people been talking about the streets. Hip-hop is from the streets, so it's always spoken about, whether it's graffiti, whether it's b-boying. It all comes from the streets, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
abandoned it at all.
To me, the new music is, is more about killing each other, and that's the one thing that deters me from listening. They want to smoke on their ops and all of this and that instead of, there was a time where hip hop was united, and you had artists like yourself, even the shows on this album. Like you got Razkaz on there, who's from L.A. You got Afro on there, who's from L.A. Y'all from Jersey, and it's still united through music. And music's supposed to bring us together instead of, separate us. Like let's make money together instead of trying to.
I was gonna say, and plus on top of that, even there's no creative stories being told. Because I remember even when Nas came out, Gave You Power, you could tell there was creativity behind that. And there was a lot of creativity. There was a lot of storytelling. So today it's just straight out just smoking somebody. There's really no thought behind it. It's not really no originality. It's just straight, to me, barbaric.
Yeah, and it's just that the one thing as far as that I understand is like when we was coming up, we after a while, like say, I'll give you a perfect example, Coogee Rap. When you listen to his albums and you hear the songs on them records, Triple X, all them records, Talk Like Sex Rabbit, yo, you like, this is a wild boy. But when you look at the singles that he released, Streets of New York, Road to Riches, they all had messages to his songs where even when you listen 4, 5, 6 in a mix, all these records that Coogee Rap made, you understood he was this gangster dude, but he had records that made sense too, where he gave himself a chance. These dudes today don't understand. We had different kind of dudes where, like, when you go to Cali, you got NWA, and then you got King T, and then through King T came Alcoholics. You look at that, like, how was that? Because at the same time, King T was affiliated with all the different people. He messed with hip-hop dudes that was like them. So when he put them out from out of his Liquid crew, he's like, look, these dudes ain't even nothing like I was, but I rock with them. So when you heard him on their records, you was like, damn, this nigga is not just on some, gang affiliated shit, but not that, but still was a hip-hop guy. So when you got records today where there's no element of the element in these kids' music, where they understand the formula of what we were using, you got to look at how it changed for a lot of Kool Moe Dee and all of them, Houdini and them, when it changed to KRS and Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. So it became more lyrical where it was less party. Then you had people having messages in their songs where it made older school artists have to say, you know what, I got to do my shit like that too. Where even Kool Moe Dee had his own career where he did one verse on Self-Destruction, where people that even followed him on doing all these other songs he did, that one verse made people that didn't know him and people that knew where he came from party rocking, like, look at Moe Dee. Made a career for himself. But you got to understand that he is from the element. He came from these deep underground parties, lights coming from out the pole and all this stuff like that. So where they don't know that struggle to know, like, so the only things that they know is all these documentaries they see on Pop Arner shows. So it's none of that now. So it's like how when you go outside and these kids ain't got shit to do, and it ain't no more basketball courts put up. Nobody care about sports. Ain't no football league. Ain't no PAL league. So these cats ain't got nobody teaching them, even hip hop wise. Where when you see the bridge and the gap between our generations, it show you that we didn't teach them what our generation coming in was taught, as far as from Sugar Hill Gang and Melly Mel. We wasn't too far away from that. Where these kids today is way far from it. Where it's so much that they don't appreciate that time frame because they don't understand it. They just look at us like old dudes complaining. Because I'm like, but look, y'all got to understand why we're complaining. It's the gap. The gap we got. If y'all don't understand where we telling y'all that we ain't say do boom bap shit, but come on, man, like give it a chance. Don't just do, but where people are as well is what they do. So if you in Atlanta, you're gonna expect trap. You're gonna expect, but there's a Ludacris, but there's a mass influence. There's a lot of dudes that come from cities that you will never hear of that's like us, but like in their city, you got just, the masses of where they might feel held back. You never know how, say in Memphis, like you got 3-6 Mafia and 8-Ball MJG. You never think how they felt over the years, but their records were being played too. But then they stopped being played because this whole generation thing changes. But if you stay active, people will rock with you. But this is the problem that we have with this generational gap where, you look at J. Cole and you look at Kendrick, they right now, them niggas are the top two dudes. Drake too. But you look at Drake, you wouldn't know that he could rhyme like them too. Drake choose not to because he want to do this shit. I'm making my bread. But then J. Cole and Kendrick making their bread too, but doing it like that. And they got messages like a motherfucker all over the place. But cats rock with them. So this is what we have right now.
That's for sure. But we'll get back to more of this. Yo, E, let's give the people some music. And we'll come back.
Shut up.
Word up, peace to Elder Sensei. My people, we're gonna give you nothing but some raw artifacts, like real artifacts, like hip hop artifacts, like you go digging in Egypt. Like these are musical artifacts. Peace to Elder Sensei, Tame-One. Let's give him some music, E, and then we'll come back and chop it up some more.
For sure.
Yo, watch it, kid. I got a fat ass can of the black light.
Yo, about to go make this pass.
Yo, right now, kid. I got some wisdom in my pocket. No pass on me in a second. Watch 5-0.
I'm out to bomb like Vietnam under the same name, Tame-One, the bad one, ink flow master bastard with the magnum. I tags up quick and then I steps to the exit when it's time to get septed. Or flex on some fresh shit, some whack crooks. So my black book, I know who took it. I know it's so tagged because the fag writes his name crooked. The ink I use might stink, but you gotta think I got my prop pops cause my tags don't shrink. I'm tagging and bagging bitches cause my name is famous in the street. Cause they know my name's from cruising in the Jeeps. So yo, grab a can and put your man up to stand up. For the fresh, never stale niggas off the third rail. These dark and black like the magnum my back. It's that artifact chat from the wrong side of the track.
The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side. The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side.
I load my backpack with spray paint to markers and sparker. Tagging up a trip, I catch the path, take a trip to the train yard to think back. When I used to write that shit that used to hit. Had all the mad color tips. Breaking was my thing, I used to spin the back. I never thought of spin the wax with tracks to make your hands clap. I could have went the other way, but no how. I got my dap on the map with the big man to a spray cap. Niggas used to doubt my clout, but now I turn them out. They shout my shit about town, like they wanna be down. Avoid the crowds that wanna stab me in the back. Enough of that, watch the dirt rail track, cause I don't wanna get zapped. Pieces to burn to show my name, no shame. Don't wanna put the blame down on my nigga thing. Brothers don't wanna see me grow to get my cash flow. I have the remorse to check me out in the store.
The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side. The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side. The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side. The artifacts from the wrong side of the tracks. The artifacts from the wrong side.
I burn my name up quick like a tie stick. As red as my eyes get, I still rock the fly shit. That with some ultra black, catch a wreck in a sec. Wet paint ain't shit when I'm on the set. I'm live like the third rail, on time like the pap train. The name Tame alone got fame, so fuck a last name. I tag mad when I drag a fat stack of ism, coming out with new additions like Mike Bivens. I get a sticker from my nigga with the back of him. Write my name on them, then I peel off the back of them. And stick them to victims of underground systems. If the toys bring the noise, me and my boys are gonna diss them. In conclusion, don't snooze when two niggas from the dirt kick the mag graffiti slurs and kick the face to the curb. The artifact jack, bringing the artifact back. Some seem to forget about the era the court wrecked. So remember this agenda when you slip in to enter the artifact zone, cause graffiti's still prone to kick ass with ass less that we tag. Why is that black? Because the whack jack is known as fag. So don't cross the path
about it when I put you up, though.
Yo, put me up on that, all right?
Hey, put you up on this flip.
Yeah, where's going, yo?
Yo, man, who got my fat cat?
Oh, no, Trey.
Hey, man. Try some of this. It's absolutely dynamite.
Oh, yeah?
Cats put down grass, man, because they say things about it like it makes you lose your memory, you know. Well, I just want to say that I forgot where I was, man.
Okay, cut. Freddie, stop.
Boom squad in the house. I lower the boom when I do the cypher dance. When that's the saggy pants as I romance the plans. I take puffs on stuff, rough enough to give a buzz to my cuz, even though he don't touch the stuff. See this blunt in my front, some say might stink, but yo, the skunk helps me think. I'm a boom smoker joker with the knack because I'm gifted. Some say misfit, but fuck it, let's get lifted. I get a box of 50, get nifty with a slip G, and take tack on new jacks who tried to diss me. I'd walk through the rain for doms at the set spot, not hot with cops cause I'd hate to get popped. I'm a terror to a tray bag, son you'll soon see, but I got to get higher. Lower the boom G. Lower the boom, you got to lower the boom. Where the brothers fuck the engine and the smoke clouds the boom. Fuck that blunt, represent no blunt. You got what you want, instead is no form. I just catch the fumes, I consume in the room with the duplicate tune. Spark another L for the cipher. Sit back and lighter. 5-inch adventure, this a writer. Lower the boom for the setback sticker. One supplies the Billy while the other one's the liquor. Or to the weed spot, the bags better be fat, or else you get the speed knot. At homes you don't need that. Spark the endo or the L, snip the weed. But I never get split, Mr. Cause Tame's the hitter, the baby of the butt. So I'm down to get the contact. Here's the rap that is a fact that I react. Smooth from the boom, zoom, the zoom, zooming. MCL, the leaner, cleaner, thought styles tuning into the matter. Roll the blunt, batter, pass the shit quick. Don't flip with the chit chatter. I never puff cause once my lungs got jammed. My man said it wouldn't kill, but I choke, goddamn. The set starts to cloud the room. The artifacts commences to lower the boom. Lower the boom, you got to lower the boom. Where the brothers fuck the engine and the smoke cloud the room. Spark that blunt, represent no blunt. We got what you want, instead is no form. Oh, I hope I live to see the day they make it legal. So all the people can see what I'm smoking ain't evil. Stop calling me a pusher cause I take pulls and take soaks. Cut snakes, cut breaks, and I hate fake folks. So pass the Jeeper, senorita, cause I need her. That fucking Philly just before I fuck a freaker. Created from a milk crate with hooks and rips. I can lift them and ship them making jams like this. With a blunt in my left hand and a Philly in my pocket. MCL at my right with the mic so I can rock it. Just makes my eyes red, but shades only cost $3 bills. And who the bill, so I'm chill. See, the bigger the blunt is how I feel about my endo. Because my moms would never throw my shit out the window. I pump herb till noon, chillin' watch cartoons. Yes, once again, I lower the boom. Are you weeded? Nope, see, I'm dope before the session. Catching wreck, check the check, cause I'm sober before the sketch. If I'm caught smoking blunt, I catch a bad one for my clan. See, I'm higher than a Messiah, so you know I'm handy dandy. Legalize it homes, cause the zone's getting bigger. From the whites to the Ricans, cause they learned it from the niggas. So who's the first to kick it real for the cipher? 8 Philly, so you know you got the pastor of the lighter. Pass the incense, gents, the smells all in the hall. My group is never gonna cause I'm 6 feet tall. Don't need for the cheaper, cleaner than Beaver Cleaver. Though I'm down the pitch, witness get like Tom Seaver. Either or mature, speak of true features. I must be the freaker of the sober class teacher. So fast the vibe thing, so you can keep your eyes clean. Look the Looney Tunes, we lower the boom. Lower the boom, we got to lower the boom. Where the brothers fuck the engine and the smoke cloud the room. Spark that blunt, represent no blunt. We got what you want, instead is no form. Lower the boom, you got to lower the boom. Where the brothers fuck the engine and the smoke cloud the room. Spark that blunt, represent no blunt. We got what you want, instead is no form. Lower the boom.
Cut.
Yeah. Screwball Radio, home of that screwy click. Here with Elder Sensei. You know, just reminiscing, real hip hop, taking y'all back. For those that haven't heard, which y'all must be under a rock if y'all haven't heard of the artifacts. You know what I mean? So, like, just to touch on a little bit before we went into the music. You know, today the people don't have like the movies like we had when we was younger. You know, your Crush Grooving. You know, it kept it hip hop. You know, your you know, breaking, Crush Groove. You know, Beat Street.
Yeah.
All these elements in movie that made the fans looking and it was accepted because, you know, they see in the movies and it's like, this is like what goes on in our hood on a daily basis, you know. You know, I come from the era where, you know, people was breakdancing in my park. You know, I'm from Kingsbridge, Jerome Avenue in the Bronx. And, you know, my man Papa Lot and his crew, they were like the NY City Breakers. They would put their cardboard out and just be breaking. And this was normal to us. Right. You know what I mean? So when we seen it on TV, it was glorified more, you know, and it wasn't too much, you know, like back in the day, there was violence. There's always been violence, and there's always been beef, you know, like, but music was like a way to separate everything, you know. Shout out to the OGs and releasing Self-Destruction, and the West Coast had their version of Self-Destruction, and, you know, it was more about the party vibe, though. You know, it's about partying. Even though, you know, most fights and beef started over women, or you stepped on my sneaker, you know what I mean, or you line my tag on the wall. Like, it wasn't just because I don't like you, and there's like no real, like the kids today, they beefing because they're from this block.
You just act,
Yeah, you know, like they just trying to portray a role, you know, that's not a real, you know, that's not what life should be about. Like, you know, life should be simple, you know what I mean? But they just make it hard.
Yeah. Today it ain't simple at all.
Nah, it's not.
You got
you know, the OGs are not respected. You know, when I was little, the OGs meant something to the neighborhood. They would throw parties for the neighborhood. Summertime come, it'd be barbecues. Like the OGs did that for the neighborhood. Now today the young kids don't even respect the OGs, and half the time it'd be shootouts, you know, for no reason. And the guns are different.
Yeah. I was about to say, you got to understand, a lot of things contribute to the things you're talking about, which goes back to what I was saying. There's no thing today, you know, when you talk about the things we had. I remember when, back in the day, Crazy Legs came to Jersey, and we had this place called the Vinicate, and that's where we used to practice. You know, they had soft mats in there with a gymnast, and it was kind of slippery or whatever, and we could wear a windbreaker and go in just for like 2 or 3 hours after school. And he came in there one day, and I told him this, and he kind of remembered, but I told him as soon as he came in there, we was asking him for pointers and everything, that he took off his knee pads and showed us how much, you know, he'd been doing it, like, not say damage-wise, but how much practice he had to go through to get as good as he was. So, like I said, these are things that was available to us where it's like, so today, not so practiced, and they don't know what the elements are. They don't know the graffiti and free b-boying and MCing and DJing and beatboxing and fashion. So these things to them are irrelevant, even to their music, because they don't live that lifestyle that we lived back then, which is today. Now is the gunplay, is the tough man, is the tough music, and you gotta understand, when we was making our records back then, all of us, besides maybe the elders, we were all in our 20s, early 20s. So, and some maybe even lesser than that. maybe a few years away. But the things that we were concentrating on was being the best MC, being the best producer, best DJ. Today is like, I got the most money, I got the most girls, I got the biggest house. These dudes young as hell too, in their 20s, and they're making mistakes in ways that we could never even imagine. We didn't have that lifestyle back then. Our lifestyle was us, like I said, trying to be the nastiest dude on the block. No different than how we knew dudes that played basketball, and they had their reputation, even in the state of 90s. That also changed for them as the years went on with different basketball players. But like us, it was you had the 90s and the 90s dudes going into the 2000s. You had the 2000 artists, the rise of the South. You had the rise and not even say fall, but the rise and regulation of the West, to where even when you listen to their music today, it's not no more G-Funk. It's just more or less, DJ Mustards and these guys is more gang-related. Their music no different than how it is up here, where we don't sound like New York no more in New Jersey, and we sound like the South. So all of these laws that we remember are abandoned. So it's hard to get a young cat to even sit down and listen to you. Imagine us talking to them, this is how it is. We're just the OG dude, and you don't know what you're talking about, old man. We don't look at ourselves like that dude that we thought about, like Mr. Geezer on the couch. Get off my lawn. So we like, yo, fucking do the hip-hop right. We just in a different way. And it's not like that no more. And the thing about that, too, is having the acceptance as us being elders to know that the reason why it's like this is because our generation, even with what you said, the disrespect, the this and that, it was no way for us to show them, because now it turned into us competing against them. Because you got to understand, us being from the 90s, not too far away from these dudes right now. Yeah, in age we are, but not in music. So when you see how the verses and things was, the treat of all that versus shit was them watching Dipset and LaLock. Because that's what we've been screaming about for years, the difference between that kind of rap and the shit we know to be. That's why the Locks won, because there was more people that was listening to Jadakiss saying, if he didn't say all those things, you would still have cats probably still rhyming over their vocals. He was screaming like that because he was fucking damn near losing his voice, telling y'all this what this is about. And it's not enough dudes, or it's not enough platforms for us to show that that kind of rhyming still exists. But this generation only knows that to be in the battle circuit. But even that's different from what we used to be knowing, where you had to rhyme on a beat, but now today you don't. Today you just go and spit a written verse that you know, where you did homework on this other dude, and you know his family and where he work at and sister name. And I'm like, what okay, where we at right now? So it's this confusion. It's elements of what it can be, how it used to, but we can't. A lot of dudes can't get past the part of still, I'm nicer than you and I'm better than you. And you got dudes jealous of that. You got everybody. You got the hangers on. You got the thugs, goons. All this shit still makes it not where it's supposed to be, because a lot more people dying over music.
Yeah,
rather
there's no
than
more
just
mentors,
dudes dying because they had a beef. Nah, it's none of that.
Yeah, there's really, through the years of hip hop, you always saw artists bring out new artists, like Mobb Deep brought out Big Noyd, Screwbal brought out Cormega, giving people a chance that was coming up, you know what I mean? And I feel like they don't do that no more. So like the little kids ain't asking the OGs no more. You know what I mean? Like they're not asking.
You see how they make their money. They online, they doing the streaming, they doing the shit that our age group don't want to do. That's new money. Whereas like you got an older guy, you telling him to do streaming and YouTube, and they like, yo, I'm used to the physical. I mean, you can still make albums and make a lot of money still doing pressing vinyl, but it's hard to get a guy our age to tell them to change to do this what they're doing, and they're used to it.
Oh yeah,
and because they savvy.
Oh yeah,
they savvy as hell with using the internet. So we can't. It's hard for us to transition into that because we still want to touch that money rather than say, yo, we can do Bitcoin and you can sell records here online. And they're like, yeah, digital streaming and Spotify and this and that. So, for a guy our age, that's frustrating because it ain't no more right a check. It ain't no more going to talk to somebody at the office. There's no more of the things we knew we could go up there and talk to somebody, black out on the motherfucker because they ain't doing some shit right. All these stories you see cats talking about online and of the past, whether it be Herb, Dame, this whole game is different than how they used to do it back then. So our age range is harder.
They can check it in. They can check it in with technology now. You know what I mean? It's like, I think now it's going to get to a point where AIs are going to be CEOs.
See, and that's the thing that won't happen because with all this stuff that's happening with that AI shit, you know, it's happening, but like just like they say, even this weekend, you do more research. It's that it's in its infancy and it's like a teenager. It don't even know how to do certain things. It could figure certain shit out, but it's like these people, it's still man-made. All these things have flaws. And as a human, no different than with all these robotics and these places where they make cars, you still need a human to fix that shit. Nothing is foolproof, and you just still people gotta understand that if you don't put yourself in the situation of, you know, I always tell people think of Deadpool. What he say? What's his main thing to say? Maximum effort. These days, it ain't because it ain't like before. You have to maximally exhaust every avenue you can do to make sure people know what you're doing because that's just what the way it is right now. People got to invest in their product. There's a lot of companies out there that want to do marketing and help you online. There's a lot of people that's out there, a lot of people you can get involved with that will push what you're doing that you don't want to push. You know, older people don't even want to do all that, so they'll put it on somebody else to do it. But I always tell them, don't just put it on somebody else because you're the one that people want to see. You're the artist. If people see you do it, that's no different than when I sell the merch. If people see that you're more involved than them hitting up a damn website that's third-party, Shopify, they'll buy more from you. But these are the things and tactics that we got to convince all our people to understand that it can work, but don't put it on somebody else to do it for you, because then when it's not going the way you want it to go, you still got to touch it. You still got to work with it.
I always feel like I find it more. Excuse me. I find it more. I get a better feeling when I interact with the fans more. Like, you know, like the streaming is cool and everything, but you know, when someone buys merch for me and I get that one-on-one with them, and now they love me forever just from the way that I treated them. You know, so I always try to treat everybody
because it's you.
Yeah. So, like, you know, the streaming is cool. I always, you know, I'm really totally against streaming. I'm totally against streaming because I feel like it robs the artists from reaching their potential, right? So, yeah, you get, you know, you might be in Japan and they might hear you, but, you know, the amount of time it took for you to make that one song, only for the streaming platform to pay you how they feel like you should be paid, when it should be the artist that gets paid how they want to be paid. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the whole points to a penny, like I feel like that's like it drains the artist, and then the artist got to continuously drop music to make something. You know what I'm saying? When before, you know, they dropped the album and people was buying physicals, whether it was a cassette tape, CD, vinyl, T-shirt, poster, and the artist ate, like he ate comfortably. You know, nowadays your album could stream 2 million, but on the back end you're only walking away with about $2,000 something.
Right. Exactly.
That's problem.
You know, you put so much time. Yeah,
and that's why you can't just do. That's why you can't just do streaming. You know what I'm saying? Like the one thing about all of this stuff is when you come from being on a label and them doing a lot of work for you, you never consider how much all that shit costs, how much that promotion costs, how much that banner was, how much when the magazine you doing a full page ad and stuff like that. So when you start doing it by yourself, you start seeing, damn, this shit really costs a lot of press. You know, especially because it's more or less online now. But you could pay Like I'll give you an example. You know, where remember like Cornerstone and DigiWax and all that stuff like that. DigiWax would charge people $800 to service all these DJs all over the country. You can do that, but you don't know how many of them DJs going to either like your song, to either play it, place it, put it on a playlist, anything like that. That was a chance you took, but that's how much they was making bread. Where they at now? So it's this thing you take, but a lot of people took chances on doing it. Now you can do some stuff with some people, and it only costs you like $400, $500, even $100, $200. But it's just the fact that it's how who those people are that can get your record placed, and with DJs and put your video on online. Is ways you can do all of these things. But if say like you say you want to press vinyl, guess what it's going to also take to do that? Bread. So when y'all see a lot of these records that cost, when you see records that cost $100, $150, and everybody like, damn, one record cost, you know, some of that shit, be picture vinyl, you color vinyl, splatter vinyl, that shit costs bread. So they only spend like, they only make maybe 100.
I pressed my album in 2019, my album Cataclysm, Out of Pocket, and you know I did 500 copies, you know,
vinyl,
and you know that it cost me paper, but I did see my money back, you know.
But that's the thing. That's the thing about it. If you don't take the chance to do that, nobody will never know what strength you may have. But it's like, yo, take the chance. But then when you do it, and when you do it again, you be like, yo, I'm going to do a package and shit. I'm going to do a bundle. I'm going to have a T-shirt and a hat with it and make it more. That's how you make it more.
Yeah. But, you know, like the way the music's changed, like, from 2019. Now, you know, 2019, you dropped one album, you ran it for the year. You dropped two albums, you ran it for the year. Now you got artists that's dropping an album every other month.
Right.
You know, it's like all it is to me is a continuation of that last album, because a lot of the topics that you spitting is the same as that first album I bought of yours. You know, like there's got to be a distance between albums. You know.
Right.
Sure.
That's always been the case. You know, once DMX did the two albums in 1 year, remember everybody tried to do a double album, sweat and suit and all that shit. Nelly, everybody had a double record. So it's always, I always believed in like letting people soak in your record.
Yeah, he had one album country, he had the other one R&B. I was like, he really went all out.
Yeah. Even your boy Tyrese had one like that. What was his chocolate tie, and the other dude Tyrese. They nigga had alter egos with their album.
Black
you know
tie.
Like, but it was Black tie. So you had everybody trying to do something like that, you know. But then, what it all boils down to, like you said, even look at me and Sadat. We did our first album together in 2018. I knew we then we went on tour and we tried to really promote it and sell it and do everything we doing. It's still selling now, but if we would have came right back with another one, we ain't giving nobody. It's still people finding out that we even made a record together. Period.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask you that.
Like, get left onto.
I was going to ask you, how did that come about? How did the XL album come about?
Well, I've known X since when me and Jamar told this story on Peter Rosenberg's show, and you know, we met them at the State Building on 125th, 1990, and we came to see their show. After their show was over, we went up to them. I was just like, fucking, I'm gonna go up to them. We told them how much we liked them. We was from Jersey. I had a Walkman. I let him hear maybe one verse of me and Tane together, and he asked me for my number. But that found out that was Jamar and Sadat's first fan experience as artists and putting out records. So, but then we got real cool with them, and we used to go to New Rochelle. We would chill with them. We never asked them to do nothing for us. They just let us chill with them until one day, Jamar, we did a few songs, We did the song called Check the Fine Print. You can go on YouTube, you can find that on there. Me and Tame did a song together, and Jamar produced the first wrong side of the track, the demo version, and that's on vinyl too. But he did the demo version. The only reason why we couldn't put it on vinyl on the album was because it was a James Brown sample, so we couldn't clear it. So the version you hear that we did with T-Ray is the one y'all see that y'all are here today. So because of that, I always saw Sadat out in party. I always saw him, in the street, just even if I would be uptown getting bud or something like that. So we was at this Smith & Wesson Pete Rock party, and for their album. So somebody was interviewing me and him, and they asked us, "Would y'all do an album together? Like, you ever think about that?" And in the interview, I looked at Sadat. He looked at me. He was like, "Nah, we never think about that." So he looked at me, and I looked at him like, "Yo, you want to do it for real?" And he was like, "Yeah, fuck it." This is like 2011, and we immediately started doing songs. And like I said, I've known him for a long time. He's one of my favorite rappers, and he told me he respected me on the mic. So when we was doing, even when we was recording it, he was like, "L, you making me right, bro. You making me right." I said, "Nah, dude." Every time he was in the booth, I was just looking at my man. We was recording. He was like, "Damn, yo, you really doing the record with him?" I said, "Hell yeah, look at this shit, crazy, right?" So this is how things work. When you talk about doing magic shit like that, where like when you respect each other, we was excited to do the record because we started hearing how the songs started coming together. And I just told Sadat, just trust me. When we do this record, just trust me. With the first couple of interviews we did, he said he didn't have too much expectations from the record because of the other releases he did that he felt people probably didn't pay attention to. And in the interview, after it was over, even in the interview, I told him sometimes it just takes you to do something with somebody else that you may not know will take you over there to do the things you may didn't think that you could do. So after that interview, I told him again, I said, "Watch, I'm going to make sure you're not going to regret doing this record with me." Immediately, we was overseas, did mad shows. I showed X stuff that he probably didn't know or didn't know we can do. Just being in all these different cities on off days, we working with people that, and I told him, I said, we're going to go to the studio. We're going to do a song. I got a feature set up for us. We had a one fee, for both of us to do these records. And once I showed people we was in the studio, a lot of people in different cities that knew where we was going to do the tours was like, "Yo, y'all coming here? Y'all want to do it? Yeah, come on." But in between doing those features, we were shooting videos with people that were just willing to shoot them forward. And I knew them.
Right.
And just from being online. So we was doing all this stuff on this European tour. X was like, "Yo, we shot a video of my man in Berlin." Next day, he got that shit edited. I sent it to the label. X was like, "Yo, I swear to God, nobody never better tell me nothing about doing shit in one day. This fucking guy shot that video, and we get to the next city, and he's already done with it, edited. That's crazy." I said, "But that's just showing you how much people want to work with you, too."
Yeah, that's the love, too. The love, when you get two dope artists like yourselves and you got something like that on your hands, you want to hurry up and get that done. And
right.
Give it to the masses because the masses want to hear it,
It was happening at the same time we was on tour. So the label, we had 6 videos. We just kept sending them. It was like, damn. So they only helped me pay for one. All the other ones was free, and we just gave credit to the people that shot them. And I've done work with these dudes to do barter favors and stuff like that because they just wanted to do it just because. But I'm like, nah, man. I'll give y'all something in return. Me and X did verses for cats in return where, they have aspirations of doing shit with music too, not just shoot videos.
Right.
So that's how this game works. When you get with people and do stuff like that, where they ain't looking for no paycheck, they just looking for work, and to say they did it with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we about to give them some more music. Gonna give them some joints off that XL album. And
see, look, we were right into it. Good segue.
Yeah, we definitely, one of my favorite songs we're gonna play next, is the Ultimate. That's one of my favorite Artifacts joints. So we're gonna play that one, and then we're gonna jump into these XL joints. Shout out to Sadat X, shout out all the listeners out there that's rocking with us tonight. Screwball Radio. Hit them in the head, E.
Most deaf.
Okay. Transmitting live via satellite. Slasher, dash the bastard with the fastest ass capture. No moonwalk, my tunes talk all by they fucking loan. Phone me home, I'm in the middle like I'm on. Love to do dubs on deck without a mic check. Collect no checks, but catch wreck on set. Deuce is loose, GPP represent C. Death Squad, Boom Squad, and Artifacts make 3. Like Dennis Scott dropping 1 for the wisdom. Cause when I get them, I'll be fucking up they system. All temperatures cheer when I appear from the mist. Priceless, ISIS and never see another Christmas. You play risk when you're dealing with the New Jerusalem blitz. Without the use of few clips, niggas got still be fluid. The cat, bearer with the terror offhand. Without bands, we rock spots in all lands. Niggas be bland and we stand for the substance. Subject, the basement, MCs be patient. Cause all that rushing, save that shit for the dressing. Yes, we stand strong, whack niggas we address them. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the pop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCO, we be the ultimate. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the pop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCO, we be the ultimate. Test me, the best beat, checking for my recipes. Mess with me and I'll be draining all your fucking energy. Galactic tactics, match wits, I'm from the brick. I used to catch a switch from any walk-by bitch. But now it's to the break like this jock. This rock is hot. Got props and plus shots for what I got. Don't sniff shit, but snot hot. You better watch the snot box, I'll dish you. Then I'll clear the air like Scott tissue. The issue got a barcode on funk mode. So now I pack a trunk load of skunk for the underground chunks. Cause I bumps in any system. Who dissed them? Watch me back them up from all the way from New Jerusalem to Manhattan. Satin and silk killed the best built. I guess the milk was no good. So now I'm classified as two hoods. Check this nigga. Live on Kodak tints or bust a pimp. Cause I'm not a boogaloo shrimp. Tame-One, the Jesus and the Judas. Cause when I hit the Buddhas, my problems manifest as deep rooted. Yeah. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the pop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCL, we be the ultimate. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the pop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCL, we be the ultimate. MC, universal no rehearsal on top with rap. So magnificent, sufficient, all that. Tall facts from the 6-footer. And slang, I be the gooder. Goodest, best, put the rest, act that's less. Sub, like a wreck stir, prefer tracks to measure. Size up, MCs that need the wise up. Fucking they lives up. Urban survivalists, live with this. Low style, try with this. That gift, all up in your shit. For all reasons. Number one, you're sleeping. Speaking like a deacon, catch the drops, my props leaking. Speaking on the deep end, thinking while I'm thinking of ways to play my competition without blinking. The ink's on the sheet with rhymes that are unique, complete batter. Astounding feats, yo, it don't matter. Capitalize while I'm categorized the G, L to the tame to the O-N-E. You know the time when we rock this spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the pop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCL, we be the ultimate. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the prop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCL, we be the ultimate. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the prop. You know the time when we rock the shit. Tame-One and MCL, we be the ultimate. You know the time when we rock the spot. Artifacts, New Jerusalem, catch wreck and get the prop. Nigga, you know the time when we rock the shit. Artifacts, MCL, we be the ultimate.
Jargon is alarming, most harmful with a pain, uncut and unchained. Framework, game shirt, bloody up your wardrobe. Aim first, brain burst, study up for more flow. Pulling on, still brawling, words powerful. Most shocking and rocking your palate like a sourdough. All manual, loaded and digital, we futuristic. Shooter through computers, known to risk it. Dig it, we physically body up your entourage. Your cigars, hard bars, blue collar job. Sensei, Dotty Boy, Bang Noise. Shotty up your party like gangs and coke boys. Fuck, still got it. Nigga, we marvelous. We like first class eating, you a charter bus. L-sub icons when the mic is on. Stripes, turn, slight burn, kill it when we write songs. All shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. Get it. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. All shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Come on. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. Lord Jamar said lift up your skirt lift. Now everybody and they mom is a fucking expert. Nigga ran up in your ex, it hurt. Everybody look big in a medium shirt bar. Me and L, we ain't email shit. Nope. We sat here together, y'all from feeling shit. Right. Y'all hear that soul? Maybe get a coin and dodge the code. Take it to Europe, find a lane, we could probably leave the states. Young boys, they run around with mafia. I can fuck with Al, his passport good. He legal in this bitch, and we can jump out the hood. Radio DJs, give a handshake. Come on. This real new shit, y'all scared to break. These dudes know they hitting us well. Give us that shit and not the beat you couldn't sell. Ball shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. Ball shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Come on. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. Get it. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. Long time survivors in this wilderness that sound the dot. To do things we timeless, breaks we kinda rock. Me and X live vocals in the same spot. Same booth, strange fruit still remain hot. Every day on the body, something bar hell. Two loose grams and screaming cartel. Get into a fight and throw bottles. Fuck you and the mouth. We can't say it gotta be removed. Each translation, birth and creation. Act like it, slang editorial conversation. We got that shit that rappers relish on like skipping college. We pro league on CD flows in the pocket. L done created a buzz, growing. Collect from all y'all niggas that's owing. The mind blowing. I keep the blind knowing, you keep the line going. Straight to the rec yard, you will respect God. Ball shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. Ball shut it off. Lyrics on call. XL, Sensei, Dotty off the wall. Come on. Everybody charge, turn it up, get involved. XL, give it up, shit is off the wall. Yeah. That thing, y'all know what it is. Jersey, New York shit, know what it is. Dotty XL, the Sensei. XL, nigga. Wave. Hot. Yeah. Soon come now, soon come. We bring heat, speech, and reform. Lyrics keep you informed. You're forewarned, you're getting horns. Cut, scratch, and leaving you torn. Breathing is norm. Sins is long and bang body work. Shots coming in bursts that work. L and Dotty verse. Corner store goons, monsoons. Passport straight, we can travel. Put your feet up, expand to a foreign land. We taking all the currencies, yours work at the foreign exchange. Upon the arm, we harmful and hazardous. I'm Fight Club, full metal jacket in this racket. Two of a kind by design, man, listen. You hear the hustle and the grammar in the deeper way. Dotty X and the 10. Got my beats on features and
hood, red rules. They need to bring us up to the school, teach the babies. No maybe.
On the org, we horrible and hazardous.
I'm Fight Club, Full Metal Jacket in this racket.
Two of a kind by design.
Man, listen.
You hear the hustle and the grammar in the deeper way.
Yes to the 10. Got my beats on features and show the heat.
Adjustments, we tell them made to keep you soothing.
Still here, and we double the crap.
We go.
What? Yeah, that's that. That's that crazy
That
right
fire
there,
right
man.
there.
That XL album is dope, man. It's.
I'm gonna tell you, when we were doing them songs, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Them shits was like dream come true. You know, as being a fan of him like that, and me and him listening to each other while we were doing this. You know, he even said to me, you know, I told him I didn't think it was gonna come out like this. You know, whereas like the energy was high energy through every song. We had like 2 slower songs, but having RA on the album, the female MC Star Rock from Atlanta, you know, that just
she's dope.
You know, we had 22 damn songs squeezed into that record. Like it was like an hour. People like that's a lot of songs. Like now they ain't long though. We just like, you know. I didn't want to leave a lot of them songs on the cutting room floor, so I told X, man, look, we did all these songs. We putting all these shit out, so what?
Yeah, but let me ask you this. Were y'all in the studio together doing them?
Yeah, we was. All of them.
That's like
and
you could
this
feel
before,
that
This
energy.
is before he moved downtown.
Yeah, you could feel the energy of, you know, like people don't record like that no more. They fly you to the session, and you know. Now you on your own vibe, so like you could just tell that the chemistry between the two of y'all, you know, y'all were bringing the best out of each other, energy-wise too, you know.
Right, and look, this is me and him. This is like not Jamar. This is not Puba. This is not Tame. This was me and Sadat, you know. And like again, a lot of the beats I brought to him, you know, I was like, look. Just tell me what you like and what you don't like. Every beat that I played him, he was like, yeah, look, that one. So he also felt a little bit more comfortability too, because he liked everything I was giving him, so he was pretty much like, yo, like this is easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he said, now I see how it was for you and Tame, just as much as I was like, I saw his process with Jamar and Poop. And we both Capricorns, so that's another thing that kind of helped out, you know, where we both was on the same vibe.
Happy belated to both of y'all, you know.
No doubt. Appreciate it. You know, so that made,
you know, like,
made it easy too.
That it's kind of like, you know, when Poet gave me my shot, you know, me and Black Poet start working together. You know, we just start bringing out this different energy from each other. And, you know, Poet always been combat ready.
He always been high energy,
though. But, you know, between the two of us, and he bring the best out of me, and I bring the best out of him. And that's kind of like what I heard from the XL album, because, you know, that XL album is dope. Because, you know, Sadat X is one of my favorite MCs for the longest, you know. Now, Wooly got a pair of my sneakers. You know what I mean? Like, punks jump up to get beat down, and you know, me being from the Bronx, and he used to be on Cortland, and you know, I always looked up to even y'all, even you know. Like I said, when y'all dropped that Artifacts, when y'all dropped that Wrong Side of the Tracks, you know, my hands was covered in ultra flat black and Chevy red Skylon. You know what I mean? So
that's dope.
You know, y'all both, and then both of y'all being on the same record and just going all in. You know, because hip hop ain't like that no more. You know, like I say, man, like for every 10 albums that people drop, there's maybe 2 real dope ones hidden.
Yeah,
in
2 or 3 good ones, right? But that's like how they make albums, bro. It's like that now too with albums. You got like 3 good ones and a few that they'll probably play as singles, but you're not getting your maximum for your bang for your buck, like how we used to sit there and read the credits on records in the back of them. You ain't know none of these dudes they was shouting out, but you just wanted to see, and you was invested in the records. You know, you believed in these records that you was buying, and it's totally not like that today.
How them dudes get
like
away
before,
with ghost producing and ghost writing. That's how they get away with that today. Because, you know, back then you could read those credits. You could read those features. You can see who produced what, who wrote what. Now they can camouflage a little easier.
Yeah, they don't want to put now, and it ain't even really for the sample sake of it. It's just that, you know, a lot of these cats ain't really doing all the beats and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got some cats that know how to play loud music. You got some cats that stick to the sampling. But the dope part about the sampling today is a lot of these machines give you more sampling time. They digital. They're not as crunchy with the sound as it was analog. So when you hear Pete Rock, his records today that he makes, all these P instrumentals and Return to SP 1200 1 and 2. When you hear these records, you can hear the advancement in the machinery he's using because it's not sounding like how it did in the past. It's super clean. It's like he's precisely getting the sounds where you want him to go.
Yeah, it's not that raw. It's not that raw, you know, like, you know, now it's just the digital just cleans it up better, it compresses better, you know?
Right. But when you listen to these dudes that know they know these machines, like Primo and Pete and Large Pro, now they using the same techniques on these new machines, but they rehashing these machines, making the SP12 better, making it that digital part for them is like, oh my God, I don't have to stretch this shit out like I used to do and put them on every pad. Now you got all this you could do on one pad, this on one pad. But they know their techniques to where they still doing their things that they did before, but it's like an amusement part for them now to use these machines where it ain't so hard to do what they needed it to do when they were doing it manually.
Dope. For the listeners out there, we on the extended version. This is the XL version of Screwbal Radio. We're going to give you a little more than we normally do. I got another question. You said before that, you know, Tame had took a hiatus from doing music, and y'all got back together. What'd you say, like 2008, you said?
Yep.
So from 2008
we got back together in 2008, actually in New Jersey and Lincoln Park, big concert, and I was up on stage by myself. I saw Tame there, Do It All came to me. He said, yo, y'all got to cut this shit out, man. Come on, let's keep this shit ready. So he brought Tame up on stage. So everybody that's listening to me, you can thank Councilman Dufresne Kelly for bringing me and Tame kind of like really, really physically back together on stage for the whole city of Newark to see. And it was really, really emotional for a lot of people. And when we shook hands, it was like you felt a bolt of lightning hit that part. Everybody was happy, and we went right into the song. And from that point on, 2008, we kept going from there to where we was on tour. Immediately, people knew we was back together. We did a Europe tour in 2012. We did a lot of features with people. We did a lot of singles with Every Day in the Street with Rod Digger. Remix, we made a video for it. Me and Tame shot a lot of it. We did a lot more work getting back together than we did with the Artifact group in the first 2 albums. I'll say that.
And what was the falling out? Just business, music.
Well,
business?
I would say that the pressures of trying to keep up with a major label when we knew we was the underground label of this underground group of the label. So with that. You know, we was fighting the kind of never-ending uphill battle when they was like, yo, y'all cool, you know, but, like, for what y'all doing, we need y'all to sell more records, you know. So with that, we was on tour. We was on tour a lot. So a lot of this stuff was taking a toll on us where we was like, okay, we probably do need to sit down. And in that became our solo careers. So I always say, it was a gift and a curse with that because I said that even if we got off the label and we got back together, I knew that it would be a lot different The only thing that was different being on the label than us being independent was comfortability of the label doing everything. But everything that we were doing anyway on our own, even being on the label, we could have did by ourselves. It's just that we didn't have the money to mass produce all those records like that. But as far as on our own being there, we was always taking care of ourselves. And the dude told me, I remember that, I'll never forget this. The guy told me, he's like, "Oh man, look, everything y'all doing," this when Dynamite Soul Sing was out. He said, "Everything y'all doing on the strength of what y'all doing on the road. These people in here ain't doing nothing for y'all." This dude knew he was about to leave. So he said, "For what it's worth, yo," he said, "y'all dope as hell with or without these cats here. So if y'all even get off the label, if y'all stick together, y'all gonna be all right." But that part didn't work out as far as the stick together part. But in that 10-year space that me and Tame wasn't together, we was able to generate our own fanfare with doing our solo stuff. And that is when we got back together. And when we started doing shows, and even with Chaos, he said it. He's like, "Look now, look what we got. We could do artifact songs. L, you could do your solo joint. Tim, you could do your solo joint, and still have all this artifact stuff that we had, whether they were new songs or solo songs that was new. We had brought a whole nother dynamic out of so-called downfall to make a resurgence in a way where people didn't expect. Even for us taking a hiatus from each other, getting back together, chemistry-wise, nothing was different. So that made us see that we was able to still function without a label. So I was like, that's when we was convinced. We was like, yo, shit, we can just do this willy-nilly like nothing. It's just that we had to make sure that we had homes to do these records on. No different than the Smoke on Records label to do the record we just did with Buck Wild. That was always what I thought would be a challenge. But because me and Tame laid our foundation early, we was able to do all these things with all these different labels independently and still eat and still go on the road. And we was doing all these tours not off a new record, first 2 albums, and of time we missed in between the 10 years that we could have been doing that consistently, but we got to where we were supposed to get to and made up for the time.
So at least y'all came back. You know, like I said, y'all came back full circle. You know, even with the hiatus.
And look, that was because of y'all and people that wanted to hear. Like, we got a chance to come back in a way where, say, your favorite groups that you know of that was from the 90s, not making records in the 2000s together, we was able to, like, shatter that. You know, we was able to show people that we could come back together. Even with whatever people heard on the street, we was able to bypass all of that. And to have a new album today in 2023, a lot of people didn't think me and Tame could do that.
Yeah, but it's here. It's here. Go get it.
And that's what matters. Like, and that's what matters, yeah.
Yeah, that's, you know, I definitely had to get my copy. You know, even though I streamed the album, but it's not like having a physical. And, you know, thank you for signing it. You know what I mean?
Okay, man, thank you for copying it. Like I said, I appreciate everybody that's ever supported me and Tame in our journey doing this music. And even up to the last one. And this ain't even the last music y'all gonna hear of me and Tame. This record was just gonna be a stepping stone to what we was about to do. So it's still music that y'all gonna hear that y'all gonna find incredible. So, you know, but it's other things I'm gonna do with this album. We're gonna do some remixes for this record. I'm going on tour and still push it. So a lot of these things that we was gonna do, I'm still gonna do in the tradition of Now and Man Chaos. So, like, you know, I just want everybody to know this is not the last of what y'all gonna hear.
Yeah, that's dope, man. But yeah, you know, we got this next song that's off this album, the new album, produced by Buck Wild. War Garden State. Where was the mindset at when you guys did this record?
Man, okay, so like when I heard that beat, for some reason I just thought of everything we did going to every club in Jersey, especially this club called Sensation. And Sensation was the spot all the rappers came to from New York, from everywhere. So like I had this thought in my mind. So, we made a song about graffiti. We made a song, 2 songs about graffiti, but we never made a song about where we live. So I thought that was a good opportunity to do it off that beat. It was a good speed and everything. And I think for me, that verse from Tame on that song to me was probably his best verse on the album. And you could hear you could hear him taking that trip back in his mind. And then the one line that stuck in my mind from that song is when he said, his song titles inside the car doors. I'm like, wow. I said, I knew one guy, my man Sun God. He had a car. He had a Volvo, white joint, gold side. Had his name on the side. But on the other side, I forgot what name of the song it was. Maybe Paid in Full, something like that. So that's what he was talking about. So when he said that, I was like, damn, he remembered that too. But this is just people we know from Jersey. And we put it on vinyl, put it on a song. And even in the hook, we naming cities and towns and of where we live that, is kind of important to us. So I just told, when Tame heard my verse, he's like, oh, you taking it there. And then he went where he went. I was like, yeah, see, that's what was dope about us. I would do things he wouldn't do. He would do things I wouldn't do. So that's what, and we covered all the bases.
Well, there you have it, people, man. Raw. That's the story behind it. Raw Garden State. Yeah. You always want to know what goes on behind the music, and why things are labeled what they're labeled. Some people just throw names on their record, but it's even better when the song has a meaning. And like I said, you two brothers bringing out the best of each other. Let's go ahead and give them this song off No Expiration Date, produced by Buck Wild, Artifacts. Rest in peace, Tame-One. Rest in peace, DJ Chaos. Let's give it to him, E.
Old Jersey used to be wild, now not recognizable. Landscape change kinda strange, but it's likable. Crime waves, ADD storms, had my first bouts. Break boys after school battles, never taken out. Crews blocked the block, crack wars, coke bottled it. Robberies and on projects, needles followed it. Harrison and gunshots, whiz kids and cardboard. Neighborhood saw law, windmills on the floor. Still had fun amongst the slums, moving record hits. Hollywood did the or my Sunny Diva flick. Childhood drove first shows, rally racket clubs. Candles and syringes, mid-G's for the social pub. Napoleons, Jersey spots, no names. Made a visitations, back room, pills and cocaine. No tame, seen shit I never saw. City is raw, artifacts, guys for your tour. New Jerusalem, Brick City, Chilltown, up to Patterson. Plainfield, Bergenfield, Roselle and Harrison. Edison, New Brunswick, Hillside, Irvington. Talking about a state, never fake. Haters murking them. Elizabeth, Piscataway, Amboy and South Jersey, Morristown and Livingston, South Orangeburg. Montclair, Bloomfield, Union, and Broadway. Hard, no debate, we that Raw Garden State.
Back in like 1984, shit was basically raw and twice as hardcore as Star Wars. Song titles outside of car doors. Gold jewelry was called Dookie so fat that it was uncalled for. You either got a GED or Job Corps. Leather bombs and sheets, people got shot for. British's cloths and valley boots, Dapper Dan suits. I was on South Orange Ave rocking the giant Nike swoosh. Super fat goose. Getting gold from the same place that I seen in the video. Flossing, big booty chicks got door knockers and dolphins. 1988, shit, that was great for me. 1908.7 Kiss Red Alert mix on my FMCB. AMBM all night long. Soft top Suzuki sidekicks, word is ball. Peace to the gods. 107.5 BLS with Marley Mall. The beef with BDP and Chris Scott LaRock early. We was taping it in Jersey.
New Jerusalem, Brick City, Chilltown, up to Patterson. Plainfield, Bergenfield, Roselle and Harrison. Edison, New Brunswick, Hillside, Irvington. Talking about a fake, never fake. Haters murking them. Elizabeth, Piscataway, Amboy and South Jersey, Morristown and Livingston, South Orangeburg, Montclair, Bloomfield, Union and Broadway. Hard, no debate, we that Raw Garden State.
All y'all stinking New Jersey kids out there, those Muslims hardest to find. The clubs and stations generation. Sandoval throws riding up on Sandoval.
all when we seen it, we lived through it. Transmitted through the music. Dirty Jersey, Broad and Market, Meg Radio, nigga. Dr. J.
Got pop 5 for 20, Hennessy white type. Might go to Cabo to have it. Stashes in my leather sample, it's like a follow jacket. Next level, ghetto special, Black Frank Gallagher. Street flatterer, A-game Tame with G's and algebra. Horizontal plank with a strength. ATM charges like the bank graffiti artist point blank. Artifacts. Artifacts. Just laying down facts. Phonically bang, astronomical, sonically arranged. Hot thing, dot strange, marvelous things. Civil war pertains, dribble my riddles and lanes. The pin game entertains, flaming every booth. In games, walking off, aiming steady shoot. Ranger boots, rhymes, say it with roots. Data computes, major proof when your player reboots. Stuck between not giving a fuck by any means. Existence since I'm not listening to teams with skinny jeans with plenty schemes to fill these pockets and make a profit. Exposing these flashing the pancakes with phone posits. All I hear is Tame, don't knock it. You had a chance, but fuck just a bust. I throw ducks under the ambulance. I don't flow bitter. Don't claim to know niggas. We in the same spot and do the same shit. I don't name drop. Artifacts. Artifacts. Just laying down facts. Artifacts. Just listen and learn and just flow with this. Obliterate rappers and frequentations. Basement invasion aided by sequence placement. Faded by quick persuasion. Flagrant with flavor cadence. Made it in minutes in time. Baited for kids that waited. We underneath underground. Slated as underrated. Inflated buzzing. We bucking like weapons calibrated. 90 sound embedded. We bedded that drum. Rump a pump. Pump up a gun. Dump and punish your fun. What you call heat, we call trash. Suction without a mask. Rapping till out of gas. Happens to get the crowd to spaz. Masters of a craft. Artifacts. Elements. 5. Keep it alive. Provide pride messaging. Jury's veterans. Purpose perfecting our medicine. Live sessions. We streaming and teaming for the crediting. Our bar job. Core stars. Red carpeted. Stress talking in person. Determined to be marvelous.
I flow vengeance and quote the dope sentence. Cause yo, my shit's legit. And as a lyricist, I'm hit. Built to compete. Killing with the beat. Rubber enough to make the whole fucking ground. Quality. Fire MC. Typical Jersey. Each step is intricate. I rap magnificent. But I keep it gilla gorilla. Swinging like orangutan. Come on and get down with that artifact sound.
I do features that eat through speakers. On weekend and freak 2 teachers. Sleep with the divas. Old school. Easter fresh farmer. Triple back suits. The sheepskin with quiches. Benetton. Upper echelon. Dope expressions Esteban. For your ass was just sick as the glass in Chinese restaurants. I call you out like a telethon. With the most serious verses since Godzilla fought Megalon. Check for my PNC. NCL like the Mechadon. Turn up like the volume in the boom. Watch when I record song. For real. Still kept in no peer pressure. Even with the
an extra arm. Something must be wrong. I go hard on yellow stars with a purple heart for Lucky Charms. If you roll up, hold up, I smoke you out until the dust you gone. And how you biggin' my music up in this bad boy for the record like a puffy song.
I flow vengeance and quote the dope sentence.
Cause yo, my shit's legit, and as a lyricist, I'm hit, built to compete. Killin' with the beat. Rough enough to make the whole fucking ground. Quality, fire MC, typical Jersey. Each step is intricate, I rap magnificent. But I keep it gilla gorilla, swinging like orangutan. Come on and get down with that artifact sound. Cut through tension and plug it, slug it, they cause a ruckus. System debugging and rugged, toughin' and mean mugging. Tricks is tugging, reluctant, stubborn, bucks discovered. In 94, we'll report, Usher and Jersey crushing. Like back to theaters, we clear evidence, they're refreshing. Building aggression, renowned in a round of a second. Mind checking, invite lessons, right in depression. Still maneuver like rookies to keep the hunger setting. Clearly an artist till I'm dearly departed. You'll hear me regardless, rock if you feel it or not. People garbage, it's hard to be modest, honest. I promise, I take it there like I shot this. Pop this, killed it like fried fish. Should have been paid. I managed like Ruby Kincaid. Depart rich family. Since back in the day, now I got groupies calling me the Black Danny Bonaducci. Freaks seduce me and feed me rubies. I keep it Gucci.
I flow vengeance and quote the dope sentence.
Cause yo, my shit's legit, and as a lyricist, I'm hit, built to compete. Killin' with the beat. Rough enough to make the whole fucking ground. Quality, fire MC, typical Jersey. Each step is intricate, I rap magnificent. But I keep it gilla gorilla, swinging like orangutan. Come on and get down with that artifact sound.
Screwball Radio. We back. We gave you a couple joints off that no expiration date, that raw hip hop, man. Artifacts, Buck Wild. Shout out to DJ Clips for doing his thing on it. Shout out to Rat Tag.
The joint, yes, man, yes. Thank everybody.
Shout out to Afro, everybody that contributed to the album. Go out, go get that. You know, let them know where they could get it. I know you had a certain amount of vinyl that.
Yeah, I still got. I ran out of the yellow vinyl. I still got some black albums though, black vinyl. So I still got a few CDs left of the double vinyl. Double CD. I got the regular CDs. I'm out of the velvet CDs, so I'm gonna post all this stuff up after the show, so everybody see it in the next couple of days of what I do have left. But I think Smoke on Records.
You got the merch
in that big ass box.
The merch. You got the trains. You got go support, man. Go support. I always say it on our show. Fuck streaming. Go support the artists. Go buy Go buy their merch. Go buy their hats, their sweaters. Like, support the artists, man. Stop supporting these companies that pretend to support the artists.
Word up, yeah. Because we know a lot of these people just put our records up on the sites and stuff like that. It's still, just like it's up to us to promote it, it's up for y'all to support it. Y'all can never say y'all don't know these records are out because they're all online and they're all able to be seen.
For real. But like I say,
that's support the real.
I say it adamantly here on Screwball Radio. Fuck streaming. Go support the artists and buy their physical. Buy 1 million copies of their physical. 1 million.
Right.
Stop
they get the real money back.
Times. Artists back. When they say starving artists, this is all streaming keepers is starving. Unless you hitting platforms like the Jay-Z's and the Drakes and you're doing 10 billion streams, that it's all Gucci, but the underground should still be eating just like them. And the way we could do that,
yes. And there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us, yo.
Yeah, they could be buying the album. Go buy the album. Like me, I always check the album streaming wise and see if it's worth the buy. But once I hear 2-3 records on there, I'm like, nah, this got to be in the collection. Like, I gotta put this on. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pop this in the CD player or the tape deck because there's tapes out there. For the people that want the relics, those artifacts, they on tape. Go get the tapes. Go get the CDs. You ain't got a CD player. damn it, go buy one. You know what I'm saying?
Damn it, go to Amazon.
Right.
They got it for $70.
Look, they got USB turntables and shit. So they can do the same thing.
Yeah, go get it, man. Go get it. And like I said, let them know where they could go order from you. I know I went through Instagram, but let the people know where they could contact you for their copy.
Yeah, man. So these copies, I'm looking at them right now. I got like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 9, 10 copies of this black vinyl. So y'all can hit me on Instagram. Okay, so my other page got hacked. This real page right now, LEL_DA_Sensei. So if you following that other page, Sensei from NJ, unfollow it immediately because it's not me. This new one is me. EL_DA_SENSEI. So you can hit me there for all merch, hoodies, t-shirts, hats. I'll be making trains again. If you want to train, you can go on nationalhiphopmuseum.com. They have the bundle, the 3 trains together, me Tame, my train, Tame's train, and the National Hip Hop Museum train, and you also get a hat. That whole bundle is $300, but the train for me and Tame separately, they're $135 each. They go to the train, all supported, will go to his mother as far as the proceeds. So if y'all want to help out for a good cause, you can go to nationalhiphopmuseum.com and you can buy Tame's train. And there's still a few left if it's not sold out yet.
Yeah, for those that are hip to artifacts, go back, go to their first album, go to their second album before you jump into this third album. You know what I mean? Or if you're going to jump into this third album.
You see the progression. You see the progression.
Go back. Always go back. Always support your artists. Without supporting the artists can't make new music. So stop being cheap. Stop streaming and go buy the album. Go buy it.
Or go to the shows.
It's all there. It's all there.
Just go to the shows. Bring a mask.
Yeah, and look, and if anybody that's hearing the sound of my voice, you can come. If you're in Albany, I'm going to be in Albany on February 3rd. Me and Timbo King going to be doing a show. So y'all can come check us out. In Albany, it's going to be a nice little festival. My man DJ Truemaster going to be DJing for me. So y'all want to come up there, I will have a merch table set up. I will have Scullies. I'll have hoodies. I'll have a little T-shirts. So y'all come check me out. I'll have it. Whatever you using, Zelle, Venmo, I got a card reader. Y'all can check me out. I'll be there.
And there you have it. Support. Shout out Elder Sensei, 2 L's up. My brother's always fresh.
No doubt, 2 L's, y'all.
Shout out to Polo Ice out in Jersey. Peace and love.
Ice was calling me. Ice was calling me while we were talking.
Oh, man, he should have called in.
That's what he calling me. He can call it in 516.
Yeah. Well, thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming on and taking your time. For y'all out there, this was the extended version, Screwbal Radio. We usually rock for an hour, but there was so much history and there was so much music to give y'all. Shout out E for holding us down on the boards. And,
No doubt. Thank you, brother. And I just want to thank y'all for having me on. Let me talk so much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to let y'all know we definitely we got to do some work later too, bro. But we here. We are here. The artifacts are here forever. And the legacy goes on.
That's word is born. So from the Screwy Click, Who Hand Radio, to everybody across the world, that's tuned in with us, thank y'all for listening. Until next week, hit them, E. Same school time, same school channel.
We out.
Peace. We out.